Hello, welcome back to Boot-Trac Adventures. Lee Schneider, your host. Last week we took a look at the sturgeon spearing season on Lake Winnebago and some of the equipment we use and some of the background and the history of it. This week we're going to finish up on the sturgeon spearing. We're going to go out there, we're going to talk to the DNR, we're going to take a look at some of the activities surrounding sturgeon spearing on the lake, and then we're actually going to get out and do some spearing. To finish off the show, we're going to move from the winter into the spring and we're going to get out on a turkey hunt. So let's get going and enjoy the show. In last week's show, we talked a little bit about the preparations for sturgeon spearing. We showed you how the holes were cut, how we get the chunks of ice out of the hole. We showed you how the shanties are set. We talked about the equipment used for sturgeon spearing. And then we ended the show with an interview with Tricia, Bo, and Stefan, who was invited down for the WOW event, or the Women on Winnebago. I knew Tricia before the WOW event, but this was our first face-to-face meeting, and we both had a lot of questions for each other about sturgeon spearing. Another gal I met from the WOW event was Carrie Zilka, a writer and podcaster, and she even brought some of her friends along. One of the couples was from Alabama, and they wanted to see what sturgeon spearing was all about, so we let them get into the act too. Well, it's day one and we've been looking in the hole for hours. The occasional dying gizzard shad and a school of sheephead is about the only entertainment we've had today. Well, the clock says it's quitting time, but it looks like a couple of the guys in our gang had some luck. Let's go over and talk to them. Okay, we're out here on Lake Winnebago and we had a couple of lucky spearers in our group. It's Steve Schmitz and Doug Schmitz. I'll let you guys tell your story.
Well, we were sitting for about 4.5 hours before we even seen anything, and all of a sudden this guy come in underneath his legs. He couldn't see it because of the angle he was looking. I got a center hole in my shanty, so we have one guy on each side so we can see it a little more. And it came right underneath him. He never saw it because it was underneath the ice yet. It was pretty high up, only about 4 feet off the ice. And then he got a spear in him, And then we got him out of there. Nice looking fish, very nice fish.
What happened with yours, Doug?
Well, mine was almost the same, except it came, I was sitting on the same side he was, and it came straight at me underneath, and about the same height, 4 or 5 feet under the ice, and yeah, straight down shot on him. Pretty comparable, almost identical fish.
Yep, 49 pounds on Doug's, 53 on Steve's. I didn't have any luck today, but maybe tomorrow's our day. We'll be back at her tomorrow morning. After spearing hours, some people just leave the lake. But many of them stay out there and fry out if the weather's nice and just enjoy time with family and friends. And others will go around and check out the festivities around the lake. The attractions are different every year, and this year it just happened to be a snow sculpture competition. We were there at night while they were still working on them, but Tricia stopped and took some video with her phone to see what the finished sculptures looked like and to see who the champion was. And this sculpture was the winner. Next up, a trip to the registration station. If you're looking for a place to go in Ontario with wonderful accommodations, a sandy beach to dig your toes in, or awesome bass and walleye fishing, Dog Lake Resort, just northwest of Thunder Bay, is the place for you. You can also choose to go with Black Bear Adventures and chase that black bear of a lifetime. Bonfires and beautiful sunsets are the norm here. This segment brought to you by Carbon Synergy, the ultimate in scent control. Beat Them Scentless, and by Pro Hunter Archery Sights and Accessories, featuring single pin slide and multi-pin sights. By Icotech, dead serious game calls and decoys. And also by Bow Dagger, the all-in-one bow stabilizer and bow stand. We stand up for your bow. We stopped at the registration station, and these three technicians took some time to explain things to us, so let's meet them.
Hey everybody, we're here today, Pipe, Wisconsin with Boot-Trac Adventures at the Sturgeon Registration Station, and here are the registration wardens.
Actually, I'm a fish technician out of Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. My name's Tim Krupp. Been coming down here about 20 years, just helping out on the sturgeon registration. It's kind of fun.
Morning, my name is Ben Heisner. I'm a Boot-Trac County fisheries biologist, and been working for the department for about 20 years, and excited to be here and be a part of this tradition.
Morning, my name is Stephen Gospodarek. I'm a fisheries technician in Boot-Trac County. This is my first year that I've been able to come up and do sturgeon registration, and it's fantastic and exciting. We've seen some great fish and some great people.
Congratulations.
Every fish that comes in, we have to put a metal tag in it. We measure it, weigh it, and then take some other information. The big thing is taking the sex on it, because that all has to do with the management of the sturgeon population out here. We have to know. Very important on figuring out the population. Okay, so when I'm sexing the fish up on the board here, what I'm doing is I'm making a slit here, and I'm looking for whether it's a male or a female. And if you can see this, here's the gonads in here, the testes here, and that would be an M1. They don't really show up real good. It's usually surrounded by fat, as opposed to an M2, and that's pretty obvious because you open it up and you just see this white testy in there. And a real young fish would be a virgin that has not spawned yet. We call it an MV or an MY, and the testy is about as round as your little finger. Then we go to females, and here's the cycle here. What we'll see is virgin, we don't see a lot of those. We'll see mostly F1s and F2s, and then an occasional black egg fish, which is an F4. And here are the different stages. Here's the gonad here. It's like real brain-like. This is an F1. It's a couple years from being having ripe eggs. Here's an F2. You'll actually see the little eggs developing in there. It's about 15 months away from having mature eggs in it. And then the F4 fish with the actual black eggs, which is much more common on the upper river lakes, but it's not uncommon to see them actually on Lake Winnebago here.
Thank you.
F1. And we would normally be taking spines on like the first 50 fish of the sturgeon that come in. And then after we get to 50, then we're just looking for fish under a certain size and over a certain size. And what we're taking this spine, this is a pectoral spine. I'm cutting the cartilage out right now so it doesn't rot too bad. But then there'll be a thin section taken right in here, and under a microscope someone will be able to actually age this fish because it'll have rings very similar to a tree. And now we're looking for a micro tag right now. What a possible micro tag. A small percentage of them will have a little metal tag in them.
That's what a pit tag looks like. Each one's individually coded, so you can tell specific ages of fish.
And that's what happens with every fish that comes into the registration station. As you can see, they gather a lot of important information. But now it's time for us to get back out on the lake and see if we can't spear a fish of our own. Well, we had been in the shanty for a few hours already, and we had a pretty exciting morning. We had one sturgeon go over the bottom that we couldn't see on film. We had another fish go off to the side of the hole that I missed, and we had this eel pout come through. And then I was having a phone conversation with one of my buddies, and that's when chaos happens.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're going to come up a little bit. Oh, there he is. This one I got, Pierce.
Unfortunately, with everything happening so fast, I slid the camera over, and instead of the lens staying into the hole, it was on the floor. Well, we measured the fish. He's right around 60 inches. We're going to run him in, get him registered, and we'll get the official stats on him. So as soon as I get those, we'll shoot a lot more footage. But awesome. Meanwhile, staffer Ross Baltz and his friends had their hands full.
Look at him, look how big he is.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep, done tear go.
All you gotta do is pull him up another foot and I'll get him. I can't see his head yet, so.
Get him up in the gills. Got him? Yep. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Hang on, Kyle. We gotta figure this out because this release ain't coming off. Hang on. I got this. Okay.
Oh, that's a big fish!
Film it. Yeah, buddy! I want to drink today, but now I gotta do it.
Oh, baby!
The Pro Tracker allows you a much better chance on recovering when you've lost blood trail, when you've lost track, or when it rains. The radio transmitter attaches to the animal's hide and then sends a radio signal back to your receiver so that you can track that transmitter. The Pro Tracker system gives you a better opportunity of locating and recovering that animal when all other avenues have been exhausted. And that is what this does.
This is John with Grand Prairie Outdoors. We're going to discuss a few overlooked tips that you could do before you plant your food plots. So many people burn down your food plot weeds and that using Roundup or different forms of glyphosate. And before you, I got Buccaneer Plus. Well, a couple little things that you could do. I got 415-12 Seed Starter here by Grand Prairie Outdoors. It's got humics, which naturally aerate your soil. The humics in this product also help the herbicide stick to the forages, and as a result, will have better weed kill. It also naturally loosens the soil. It also will help clean your tanks, giving you some benefit for the next chemicals we're going to be using thereafter. It's also got zinc, manganese, copper, cobalt, boron, which are overlooked micronutrients that are essential to your perennial clovers, brassicas, soybeans. So that's another option you can be doing, mixing with your glyphosates. For those of you that have grass challenges, we got a product like Parallel. There's also Metulacore. There's also Dual, and they're going to give you residual grass control. Mix the grass residual with the glyphosate, and it doesn't just kill what's growing, but also gives you residual weed control. A few little tips from John with Grand Prairie Outdoors.
This segment brought to you by Pro Tracker, the ultimate tracking and recovery system. Ultra Pro X cameras, The adventure starts here. Boning Archery, your archery equipment source since 1946. And Pete Shoe Dryer. We invented dry. Well, we're off to Wisconsin, and we're going to try to bag a turkey with our bow. Simply unbelievable. As you can hear on the video, they were right behind me. As far as I know, there were 3 toms. Because the first one that was right behind us, he'd gobble, and then the other 2 were a little farther back, and then they'd gobble. Man, so close. Well, it didn't take long for the action to heat up again. After the first call, he was coming on a string. I just quit calling. Even after the shot, that bird gobbled at every call I threw at him. Or maybe he was laughing.
Boot-Trac. Dead serious game calls and decoys.
Stop starting out sopping wet. Start using a Pete dryer. Do what you like best in the soothing comfort of Pete Dry, a peculiar kind of dryness that effectively removes wet and sweat from all boots. You feel better. Your boots last longer. Pete is easy to use and what you want. Go to www.petedryer.com and start feeling better. Pete, the original boot dryer, and still the best.
This segment brought to you by Ghost Blind. Not seeing is believing. By Grandpa Ray Outdoors. We're not about fancy bags. We are about complete whitetail nutrition. Ohio Paracord and Bulwarks. Dog Lake Resort, your vacation spot in Ontario for family and sportsmen. And by Game Changer, a new and exciting way to hunt turkeys. Shoot them in self-defense. I don't believe I messed up. I'm gonna have to watch that footage back. I see there's feathers laying, or a feather laying over there. I gotta look to see if it's a wing feather or if it's a tail feather. I have to watch the footage and see what's where the hell the shot went. Definitely isn't where it was supposed to be. Way in the back by the pines. Walked all the way down along the edge calling. I didn't get any responses. So I'm going to sit here for a while. I'm using the gun right now because I plan on doing a little running and gunning. But it's a little after 11, 5 after 11 right now. Hopefully I won't have to hunt in the morning. Maybe I'll get lucky on running and gunning here today. I'm going to sit here till, like I say, 12:30 maybe. Something like that. Shortly after we sat down, this hen came to visit the decoys, and then 2 more came out off to my right. Got a nice bird here. I guess probably about 23, 24 pounds. Real nice tom. Beautiful fan. Nice color. Pretty good beard. I would guess 10 and a half, 11 inches, something like that. Looks like a 2-year-old bird. Probably 3/4 of an inch spur, so I'm guessing 2-year-old bird. Wanted to take it with the bow, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're gonna head out, and we'll get a few more pictures a little bit later. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's show. Thanks for watching, and we're going to be having more turkey hunting next week, so stay tuned. Until then, go where the tracks lead you.
At Grand Beret Outdoors, we strive to provide the best nutrition for your whitetail deer, starting with the soil. We provide a full line of high-quality food plot seed, plant foods, and minerals, and are not about a fancy name or package. We offer a year-round program of nutrition and food plot education that is natural and innovative. We work with you to give you specific recommendations for your own properties. Together, we can help you achieve the next level in whitetail deer management. Grand Beret Outdoors. Why go anywhere else?